Hi, Assalamualaikum and a very good afternoon IB to everyone. We are from Group 6. My name is Abdul Azim bin Zainal with matrix ID 17008969 and I am taking Information System.
Hello and Assalamualaikum. My name is Siti Mariam binti Amir. My student ID is 177076 and I am from Mechanical Engineering.
Hi, my name is Nordana binti Azhar. My ID is 18001216 and I'm from Mechanical Engineering.
Hi, Assalamualaikum everyone. I am Zulaika. I am from Computer Science.
Assalamualaikum dan selamat sejahtera. My name is Mira Karyunisa binti Muhammad Ami. I am taking the course ICT and in this video we are presenting about unemployment rates in conglomerate firms. So please enjoy. The worldwide pandemic that is famously known as COVID-19 has disrupted the Malaysian economy and is currently spreading throughout the globe. The gradual development of this virus and the impact towards the Malaysian economy has produced a drastic increment towards the unemployment rate. Although the unemployment rate in Malaysia has been relatively low and stable for the past 19 years, as the pandemic hit in 2020, our unemployment rate has reached to a severe upsurge of 5% as of April 2020. Our main focus is mainly on conglomerate firms as they have been cutting off workforce and letting go of their employees in order to survive in this throat-cutting industry. For example, the airlines AirAsia is laying off almost 300 employees to ensure the continuity of the carrier. The oil price battle is projected to have significant consequences towards the global economy. With that, it will affect Malaysia's very own oil firm, which is PETRONAS, that went through a severe downfall of value in 68% from the first quarter of 2020. With that, actions are being taken to cut expenditure due to the pandemic hit. This study will also potentially impact the country's economy and business owners.
So, with the sudden hit of COVID-19 pandemic, unemployment is a major problem for current workers who may be laid off due to market dryness and impacted various industries. The world economy in the first 5 months of 2020 records a growing inflation rate of 6.3% and an unemployment rate of 7.5%. However, the world economy in the year 2019 experiences an average worldwide inflation rate of 3.6% and an average worldwide unemployment rate of 8%. Therefore, it is evident that the pandemic has affected intensely in the world economy, especially for unemployment. According to the Department of Statistics Malaysia, unemployment refers to those who do not have a job but are interested to work. The measure of health of the economy in a country is unemployment. 50% of GDP is generated by the service sector. In 2019, the service sector controls Malaysia's employment with almost 62% of the labour force working in that sector. The industrial sector holding 27% of workers, while the agriculture sector held below 10.36% of workers. Due to the statistical report, it is clearly shown that the service and industrial sector play a major part in Malaysia's employment, which is why we are interested in researching the increment of unemployment rates in conglomerate firms, which we would like to focus mainly on the oil and gas industry, airline company, and also tourism sector.
A recent survey has displayed that Malaysians' major concern now is unemployment and job safety during this COVID-19 pandemic. Global pollster Ipsos revealed that in May 2020, 51% of Malaysians were concerned about the unemployment rate. LFS, which is Labour Force Survey, has been released by the Department of Statistics, where the objective of LFS is to collect information on the structure and distribution of labour force employment and employment. The result shows that in May 2020, the unemployment rate accelerated 0.3% to 5.3% after registering 5.0% in April 2020. During the same period, the number of unemployment persons went up by 47.3 thousand to 826.1 thousand persons as against 778.8 thousand persons. By end of April, Malaysian Employers Federation MEF Executive Director Shamsuddin Bardin said as many as 2 million Malaysians may lose their job in 2020. The World Tourism Organization projects international tourism to fall between 60% to 80% in 2020. Due to 50% of Malaysia's tourists are originated from Singapore and China, that has disrupted Malaysia's Visit Malaysia 2020 campaign. This clearly shows that the tourism sector hit the hardest among all sectors. Also, why we are interested to do more research about this major problem. According to the Malaysian Association of Hotels, MAH, up to 30% of hotels may have to close down. It is said that a summation of 170,000 of hotel room bookings during 11 January until 16 March 2020 had been cancelled, which resulted in a lost revenue of around 60 million ringgit. But it is not just hotels that are suffering, but other businesses, activities related to tourism sector, and an estimated of 30.4 million jobs are related to tourism sector in services ranging from accommodation, F&B, passenger transport travels, agencies, and other more. A conservative estimate of 30% of jobs at risk in this sector would translate into about 1 million jobs. For the airline industry, AirAsia Berhad is set to begin downsizing its workforce. The announcement stated that the termination of 111 cabin crew from 1,900 crew members, 172 pilots and 50 engineers is to be done during a briefing with airline staff. Besides that, Malaysia Airlines Berhad is also offering voluntary unpaid leave to all 13,000 employees. According to Newsweek Times, we confirm that MAG has given its staff the option to voluntarily take 5 days of unpaid leave per month for at least 3 months or between 1 and 3 months beginning April 2020. To add to that, the 3 major Malaysia airlines, namely AirAsia, Malindo and Malaysia Airlines, have commenced a salary cut ranging from 10% to 100%. Due to this astronomical statistic of rate of unemployment in these 2 companies, we would like to focus more on the effects and also the main cause for this rate. The 3 research questions that we could come up with, the first one is, how do these companies sustain their businesses during this economic destruction? The second one is, what can the governments do to mitigate income losses and develop human capital? The last one is, what are the procedures taken by companies in handling this crisis?
Significance of study. The study of increment towards unemployment rates in conglomerate firms in Malaysia has proved that those firms were negatively impacted by COVID-19 pandemic. This had benefited companies in the future to overcome similar situations by applying effective steps and solutions which must be taken to save the companies from losing their assets. Therefore, this research study had been advantageous to all sizes of companies, whether it be small, medium, nor major companies in operating their business under a tight atmosphere, especially if the government set any restrictions due to the crisis. In the other hand, this study had proven that COVID-19 pandemic had changed many work lifestyles and ethics in many companies.
For this part, I'll be explaining the literature findings in relation to our project. According to Kabir Hakim Rahman, restrictions on the economic activity through the Movement Control Order MCO have reduced consumer spending, as it hit family units, monetary foundations, organizations, and markets all simultaneously. Recently, the International Monetary Fund has declared that lockdown measures to spread the COVID-19 may cause the world economy to undergo a recession. The World Bank also anticipated that the Malaysian trade will be gravely affected by the outbreak, in which net exports will be declining by 3.9% this year. According to Chong's report, air travel has been one of the hardest hit industries at this time with its flight cancellation. More than 140 of the 195 countries in the world have taken drastic measures, including imposing full lockdowns, shutting down airports, imposing travel restrictions, and completely sealing their borders, in an attempt to flatten the curve. Malaysia Airlines Berhad was reported to have reduced operations due to COVID-19. They have offered its 13,000 employees with the option of either taking 3 months of unpaid leave or 5 days of unpaid leave per month for a period of 3 months beginning in April 2020. On another note, AirAsia Group employees of management positions and senior employees are actually volunteering their earnings to be distributed, ranging from their entire salary of 100% to as small as 15% to further manage and accommodate costs. Even with all these sacrifices made, the CGS-CIMB research has predicted that the AirAsia Group can only manage itself for 5 months with its current cash balance. Conversely though, according to Kim, Kit Lee and Ngui's report, on table 2 here, it demonstrates the severity of room cancellations in which Kuala Lumpur hotels suffer most from, in which the total cancellations resulted in a total loss of 23,021,301 ringgit in revenue. It is estimated that a total of 3.3 billion ringgit in revenue is going to be lost from the hotel sector of the tourism industry in Malaysia by June 2020. As shown in table 3 here, the impact of COVID-19 on hotel industry workers are also a huge feat. Workers from the Kuala Lumpur hotels have been mercilessly hit, with 542 workers out of 17,826 workers has been laid off from work. Other than being laid off from work, 3,641 workers have been asked to take unpaid leave, while 2,880 workers have been forced to get pay cuts instead. According to Smith's report, within the global chaos caused by the COVID-19, the oil and natural gas production industry has been hit unusually hard. Well, actually, at the onset of the pandemic, oil was actually already experiencing severe market distress as global supply exceeded global demand. OPEC had tried to craft a cutback in production, but that actually resulted in a price war between Russia and Saudi Arabia. This actually drove to a dramatic decline in global crude oil prices. According to Ambrose's report, is that crude oil prices for the first time in history are actually reaching zero and even falling to a negative value due to numerous producers being forced to pay for the disposal of the crude oils as stockpiles are being overwhelmed in the storage facilities.
Survey analysis. From the survey, it have showed that 67.7% were female respondents, followed by 32.3% which were male. So as far from the survey, the actions taken by the company were following the government SOP, which covers up to 80% of the respondents' answers. As for the wages, 80.6% of the respondents stated their company still able to pay beyond 2 months worth of wages to their companies, while the other 1.1% chose to not expose their answers. The survey also showed that 32.3% of the respondents did receive aids from government, while 67.7% did not receive any aids. Thank you.
To conclude, the study will definitely contribute a huge impact towards the conglomerate firms to structure an organized plan regarding what actions to be taken in the midst of a global crisis. From there, major companies could also take note by adapting to the future crisis and applying a detailed plan to avoid any losses. Crisis will still occur, but losses and unstructured management of companies could be avoided in order to save the liquidity of the company. With that, these obtained results could be informative by providing solutions to the companies that has been affected by the pandemic. Other than providing information, these results could also trigger other companies by thinking of many ways and efficient preparations in facing unpredictable crises. Besides, the data gathered in this study could also be filtered and analyzed in order to get their patterns on how COVID-19 affects conglomerate firms holistically, in which we're speaking are costs such as overhead and operational costs. With that, these two must be recovered in order to sustain and maintain their businesses. You have now reached the end of the video, and we from Group 6 would like to thank Sir Azhan for giving us this opportunity to present about Malaysian economy. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.